Hi everybody. I thought I'd jump on to give my thoughts on some things that have been happening. There's been quite a lot of videos, articles about people desperate to get other people to cancel their Claude code, possibly to try and drive down the pricing, get Anthropic to drive down pricing. And I saw a recent one. And I won't share that video because I think it's a little bit of a clickbait and I don't want to feed it. It was around how sort of the AI bubble is bursting and like investor funds are drying up. And so, all these companies are desperate to sort of claw back money from users, etc. And I want to address all this and give my take on it and the rationale for how I use both Claude, OpenAI's stuff, as well as Gemini, right? This isn't really going to be a deep dive on technical. This is going to be a more of a rationale and decisions and why I made those decisions. Now, to address the point about Claude Code, Claude did have a problem. It definitely had a problem for quite some time between August and early September. And there was definitely an issue with it. And one of the problems here really is that well it wasn't very obvious as to why this was happening. So if I show you what actually happened, well, I won't actually just show you it. What I'll do is well, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, there you go. Post-mortem of 3 recent issues. They had a number of issues, and there are plenty of videos that dive into this. But actually, the best thing to do is go to the Claude Code site the Anthropic site, the engineering blog, and have a look. Right. There were 3 things that really went horribly wrong for them. It took quite some time to work out what was going on, and it was because of a number of issues about how they respect privacy, etc., etc., but also about a bug that they evidenced and they surfaced with XLA, and they go into why the detection was difficult and what they're changing. So, I'm a systems engineer, solutions engineer. I've been doing this since I was 15. I kid you not. And so I know what postmortems are and how hard these kind of bugs are to find and fix. That isn't a reason to cancel your Claude Code membership. Claude to me is still one of the, if not the best, development partner that I have. I haven't written code in about 18 months. I just don't need to. People have different experiences. Everyone now swears by GPT-5 codecs, and I will get into in a later video as I sort of take the same kind of project development across Claude and GPT-5. I would have done this with Gemini, but I don't. If I'm honest with you, I don't find Gemini that helpful when I'm coding. It is really great when I'm trying to do other kind of work, sort of real, sort of heavy knowledge work. I like it. I like its research feature. I know Grok 4 Fast 1 came out. I will probably have a play with it at some point, but this is quite expensive. So what do I actually do? How do I pay for this stuff? Well, not how do I pay for this? I have a job. But what do I pay? I have a Claude Pro Max, so that's $200. And I have a GPT-5 Pro account, which is another $200. So it's about $400 a month that I will spend. I spend about $20 with Google for their sort of premium account. I just don't use it enough to sort of go to the $179 or $200 version of it. I just don't use its stuff. I don't really care about VO3. I don't really generate videos. I don't generate, if I want to do image work, I have Photoshop. I have a full Photoshop subscription with its own generative AI stuff. So not really worried about that. But pricing's interesting, right? So for Claude, for example, everyone sort of begins with free, but there's not a lot. Everyday productivity is kind of a misnomer here. With Pro, you will run into limits really quickly. You can get 5 times more than Pro if you go for the $100. I'm on the $200. That gives me 20 times more. And I've heard of people saying, "Hey, I'm running into my $200 limit max." I'm like, Jesus, what are you doing? Like, I use this every day to write software, to do, to investigate architectures, and like, obviously I have a day job, but as it's not continuous. It is that I understand in the mornings I set things off and I keep an eye on it during the day, and it uses quite a lot of tokens, and it definitely uses more than $200 a month, but I've never hit a limit. Um, so I don't know what you guys are doing if you are running out of tokens or running out of limits on a Pro Max account. That's pretty insane. I'm going to say at that point you are at enterprise grade and you want to have a real, have a good think about what you're trying to do. It may just be that you're not very efficient at using it, or you're just trying to do too much. And I don't know what you're trying to do, but yeah, if you're hitting that Pro Max $200 limit, you need to have a little think about what you're trying to do with it. And of course, for OpenAI pricing, I mean, this is the API pricing. But if I go to my Chat GPT, um, I'm on a Pro account. Oh, look, all of these things, and I will actually, go through this. And Agent Forge is pretty cool. And distinguished engineering, and yeah, there's lots of stuff that I wanna make videos about because they're pretty cool. But I mean, I'm on the where am I? I'm on the $200 limit. Everything in plus, unlimited access to GPT-5, advanced features, GPT-5 Pro, etc., etc. And I know today, for example, I mean, today's the 23rd of September 2025, and they were saying that there's even more heavy compute coming out, so that's going to be really interesting. And Google AI, I mean, I was on the Ultra, sorry, £119. I was on this, but if I look at this, I suddenly realized, like, I don't really need it. Um, I wasn't going anywhere near 25,000. I mean, I wasn't really going near 1,000 monthly AI credits. I wasn't using Flow. I wasn't using Whisk. I wasn't using Notebook LM. Um, I don't really need Gemini and Gmail, Docs, Vids, all of that. And I kind of already pay for YouTube Premium anyway. And I have, I think, something like 300 gig in total of things in my cloud. So 30 terabytes a little bit too much for me. So this was a waste of money. So I just went for the 1899, and who knows? I may hit a limit on 1,000 at some point, but I don't think I will. Um, and so I think it depends on like what you want to get out of it. But I think there's a really big issue here is that don't believe that today and going forward that you're gonna get people to give you like almost unlimited sort of tokens, not tokens, unlimited limits on API calls and whatever. And you can get it for $20 a month. It's unrealistic, right? Money doesn't work that way, and businesses don't work that way. And investors don't invest because they're altruistic. Investors invest because they expect a return, right? So yeah, you're gonna start paying. And if you want to use it seriously, you have to pay to play. And you can complain about that as much as you like, but that's the reality. We live in a modern capitalist economy where you have to pay to play, and this stuff is really powerful. And guys, if you build something that's really powerful, are you not going to want people to pay for it? How are you going to pay for the infrastructure? How are you going to pay for your time, the time of the people that you might have on your team? All of this stuff is really important to pay for. It's not free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything costs. Yes, it began as free because everyone was still learning and these companies were still learning, and they've still got like low cost. Once again, I think everyday productivity is a bit weird. Um, it's interesting. You can do various bits and pieces with the Pro account, and learning is stick with a Pro account on Claude or a Pro account on GPT or Google. But once you start doing serious work, as in I want to build software, I want to build solutions, you got to go to your max plans, right? And that, the kind of economic thinking you've got to do is go, hey, is this just for me, or am I going to sell something? Now, if you're gonna, God, please don't build yet another SaaS application. But if you've got this amazing idea and you think you've done your research and hey, this is gonna earn me some money, then work out, what's your price point, be conservative in how many people you think you're gonna get on board in that first year, and say, hey, can I afford a $200 a month max plan? Now, as I said, I work for a living, as I'm sure most of you do as well, and so yeah, I take some of my disposable income and I use it for my AI. So $400 is quite a lot, but I find quite a lot of benefit from it. And another thing I think you want to think about is you're really building your employability for the next go round, right? The future of work, the future of being employable in this kind of arena, in systems engineering, software engineering, in anything to do with IT, is going to be understanding how to use the various AI models, the different types of AI models, even from the same provider, how prompting works, you know, how context engineering works, how spec-driven development. I had a short video earlier on about, very surprising that this seems like a new thing to people, but it's important that you guys go and learn it. And so, you're gonna learn to you're gonna pay to learn. There's no real difference from buying stuff from Udemy or whatever, and learning like that. It's the same thing. It's a bit more expensive, sure, but it is what it is. So having said that, I just really wanted to address it because there's quite a lot of this, I think, fear and FUD, right? On the AI bubble's bursting, companies are gonna really struggle. You're gonna lose access. It's guys, no, not really. Right, this is a monster that we've unleashed and is going to eat the world, and it is cracking on, and you need to keep up with it. Sure, if it means okay, I'm going to have to pay this $200 a month, which means I can't, maybe I don't go out as much or whatever. Hey, work it out. What's important to you, right? But this idea that you can have the best for free, you got to get rid of it, right? You really do. And saying, oh, well, they had this huge problem and therefore they must be bad. No, they weren't. They're really good, actually. If you read this, and I'll post the link on the video, this is a really good example of how an excellent engineering team and SRE team goes through, identifies, investigates, right, and iteratively fixes, and then works with the community to work out, hey, you've got a bug in a downstream piece of software, we're going to help you fix that, right? That's really cool. And actually, in general, their engineering blog is pretty awesome. I think you can just it's pretty awesome. They do things like how to write effective tools for agents, how their multi-agent research system worked, etc., etc. And it's really important that you guys understand how all of this works, because it's going to be really impactful. And actually, they do the analysis of the economic futures, right? And they have this how to understand the report, right, on what happens in terms of what the impact. I mean, they're here in the US usage, right, and they do state usage and so on, and it's important to understand, right? I mean, this is really interesting. If you look at it, the biggest point here is computer and mathematical, but then art and design, right? And weirdly enough, office and administrative support is quite low, which is weird because you'd have thought you'd have really got quite a lot. And so it's this is a really interesting report to read, so you should definitely read that as well. But I think what I'm saying is ignore all of the fear and the FUD around the bubble bursting, and everyone should cancel all your paid subscriptions. That will force them all to lower the price. No, it won't. It won't at all. That's just not how it works. What they'll do is they'll make it enterprise only, right? That means that you and I lose access to it, right? So don't do that. Just just understand what your limits are, right? It's like gambling, right? It is exactly like gambling, actually. It's like, don't bet what you can't afford to lose. Don't spend what you can't afford to not recover. Um, I've been doing this for 2, 3 years. I haven't launched a damn thing that I've built with it, but I have built stuff for myself, and I kind of enjoy it. And I've learned a huge amount about how to develop and how to think with an AI, or a machine mind, as I call it now, right? And maybe this year, maybe early next year, I will start releasing some things which I think are really useful. Um, yeah, and interestingly, before I go, um, I want to show you this. So this is a really nice, for GPT 3.4 and 3.5 and 4. It's pretty old. And the actual tool is about copy and paste a prompt. It will give you a token count. This worries me, and I'm actually going to do a little. Let me move my. I'm going to do a little video on this. This worries me. The reasoning API is a new reliability layer that makes your AI deterministic. Join the private beta. Yeah. I'm going to hold back until I get to see what it really is. I can already ship AI features that actually work. I can. You don't need reasoning layers to drastically reduce hallucinations. You don't actually need another layer to detect ambiguity and structuring intent. I mean, BMAD and SpecKit will do that for you. But this isn't really the problem. Is it's someone's baby. I'm looking forward to it. When they release it out of beta, I'll have it. I'll check it out. But this line makes me nervous. It's like, makes your AI deterministic. That's just not how the machine mind works. That's a bit like hiring a team of developers and then micromanage them to the point at which they can't actually innovate. I think Steve Jobs once said, right, in an interview, right, he doesn't micromanage people, and no leader today should be micromanaging people. You shouldn't micromanage your AI as well. You just have to understand how to deal with it, how to talk to it, how to express your intent to it. And these are some of the things that I'm talking to you about. Obviously, I do at work, so I have to be careful about various things because obviously there's not exactly patentable stuff, but there are edge things that obviously my company sells. So I'm not my company, but the company I work for sells. So, but I think it's worth investigating this together to say, hey, do you understand what determinism is? Do you understand that no machine mind is deterministic, no matter what top P, top K, or temperature you set? It does not matter. It's not always deterministic. Any large enough corpus of information is going to make it non-deterministic. So we'll talk about that in another video. I just wanted to drop this very quickly, 20-minute video to sort of discuss that kind of fear and the FUD that's coming out around sort of, oh, everyone cancelled your account and pricing's insane. It's not insane. It's the right level. If they were trying to charge $500 a month, then I'd be slightly, I'd be a little bit peeved, if I'm honest. I think more what annoys me is, for example, I think there's and I'm not really I'm not picking on any one company, but I know there was this big thing right around pricing. Like, where is your pricing? To be fair, like I clicked on pricing cursor, and what is this? Well, I don't want to do that. I just want, what's the pricing, dude? I don't understand what happened to the pricing. Is this what? Okay, let's try Windsurf. Maybe they have a better understanding of what pricing means. Let's have a look. Pricing. Hey, look at that. That's what I'm looking for. It's a pricing thing. Come on, cursor. So this is a 500 prompt credits. That's not enough, right? Everything team plus 1,000 prompt credits per user per month. Oh, but yeah, this is all. I mean, yeah, sure. View plan options, more, less than 200. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to log in to get a pricing calculation, dude. but I think what annoys me is like there are various providers, right, where it's like, another $200, and I'm like, I'm not gonna buy like an ID today for $200. I still use VS Code. I used to use JetBrains, and actually, what is JetBrains now? Let me just have a look. What is? Oh, I do like, and I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember like the ball end stuff or the old DOS stuff. This used to be what what it looked like, and it was awesome, and I miss it. So if I'm so old. This is pretty insane. 569 per. Oh, I don't know, per user per year. Enterprise and custom AI integrations. Maybe. Um, a larger credit quota daily, 35 credits per month, 1 USD. I don't really know how that works. And if it's monthly, it's a bit more. Like I'd be more use. I'd be more like I mean like what is that? What is that? The pricing for enterprise? I don't know. And do you know what really annoys me? And I will call this out because this I think is bullshit. Um, Maybe that was too strong, but I mean, like GitLab Duo, really, guys? Like, I don't understand what the point of this is. Like, it's quite expensive, um, and I don't like fortify your code with AI pads. Yeah, but you don't need like a particular model for that. You can do it generally. Like everything they mention on here is like, yeah, I can do this with any three of the majors. Well, apart from even with Google, right? I can do that, and it's just a prompting technique. You shouldn't have to pay for that. You can try for free and like talk to sales, like whatever. But like, let's have a look at the pricing. Um, let's talk. Okay, fine. So they're not even going to give you um, a thing on that, right? Application. I mean, you can do that all the time. Yeah, that you can do with like Sonar. I mean, yeah, enterprise. Yeah, 50,000 compute minutes per month. Again, like why? Duo Pro. Let's have a look at Duo Pro. What does that have? I mean, summarization tools, chat context, root cause analysis. I mean, all of this stuff is like you don't really need to pay extra once you've got like Claude, or it's a prompting technique. What I might do actually is take, and I'm not going to pick on just GitLab Duo, but I'm going to take all these little features and maybe show you how to do that in either Claude or GPT, because I think it's important, whether you're a solo dev or a large enterprise, to realize that you have to be really careful about buying things. Um, uh, and that does feed back into what investors expect. And like investors, and once again, GitLab, I love you guys. GitHub, I love you guys. Right, well, it's Microsoft, right? But I just think sometimes I look across some of the product lines and the pricing, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, who's buying this? Like, who is actually not aware enough today to go, no, I can do that without it. Anyway, that's enough of that and me trying to get my P45. Where were we? We were in JetBrains, weren't we? I'm very tempted. I just wanted to have a look at the pricing, didn't I? Where is that pricing again? Let's go to JetBrains back again. Oh, it doesn't have price. Oh, there we go. See plans of pricing. Yeah, so monthly, would I do like I'm almost tempted to 35 credit months, anytime top ups, daily coding with, which is their own AI, right? Um, we were at Learn More. Um, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. £47.42 per user per month. Contact sales. Like, why do I need to contact sales? Like, I get it, guys, if I want to install on-prem, but like, if you're going to say that's what it is, just tell me how many minimum users and let me crack on with it, right? Contextualize code base index. I mean, you have plenty of services who can do that. Yeah, company-wide MCP policies. Well, only if you use, you have to be slightly careful, right? That's not always what you think it is, right? Um, Yeah, 0 day. Well, if I'm running an audit, yeah. Run on premises or in the cloud, sure. Connect AI providers using your own, yeah, sure. But then why am I paying for this and that? I can just VS Code it, right? Um, I don't know. I know plenty of big enterprises in loads of different arenas, loads of different arenas that will pay for this kind of stuff, but I'm not sure. Um, this might be interesting. What's this? Code with me, relay. Okay, creating and joining us. What is this? Pair programming solution. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, once again, that's. I mean, come on. Uh, all right. Let's do this. What does this actually do? Architecture. Let's. Do you know what? Shall we do something funny? Shall we do something funny? Here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use Google AI, and I know Claude better than I know GPT, so Claude. Maybe with GPT doing code reviews, could we build this kind of secure coding, pair programming integrated with GitHub and with GitLab? Could we do that? Could we do that? I think that's more than possible. JetBrains, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I think we can definitely do that. Code with me enterprise. We don't care about license vault. Centralized way to deliver, manage IDs and plugin. Compilate products together with their respective versions. Plugin marketplace. I mean, sure, but we'll do it for VS Code, right? Maybe services core. Probably we don't care about those, but we do care about these. This one, right? On a private network, maintain a high level of control over data access. Leveraging this option can ensure blah 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 blah. Based in code with me, the version for business. What's this code with me? Yeah, you see, I think we can build this for VS Code. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. VS Code pair programming plugin. I'm pretty sure there's a ton of them. Yeah, there you go. Live share apparently is the one. Oh, it's from Microsoft itself. That's fine. Is it free? Sure. I don't know. Anyone use this? I mean, that seems to be private as well. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pay for this. But I think it'd be a useful thing because one of the things that I want to really show you guys is how, like, you don't have to buy software today. You can. I don't see why we can't, and I kind of like the way that they just showed there, right? Like, there's a whole kind of like coding team there. That's, you can add guests, and everyone's individually working on it. Jesus Christ, why would you do that? That looks like a bloody nightmare, to be fair. I wouldn't do that with my team or any team. But that's really interesting. So look, I hope you've enjoyed this. This was going to be a really short video. It's now nearly half an hour. I haven't really given you a vast ton of interesting content apart from saying don't worry about the FUD. Work out what you want to pay, then pay for it, and don't complain. Basically, just crack on. And learn and get yourself to the place where you can start to make money with it, because if that's what you want to do, then that's what you need to do. And as I said, I'll start dropping some real technical videos and how-tos and maybe some working sessions and maybe go live at some point. But anyway, enjoy your, what is it now? Tuesday, right? Is it Tuesday? God, is it already Tuesday? God bless, and I'll speak to you soon.